How's it going, everyone? This is Boaz, rank 1 Asol. I've got another video for y'all. This is my complete Asol guide for beginners all the way up to advanced. Now, I am currently at the top of the leaderboard. It is nearing the end of the season, and it doesn't look like anyone's going to catch me. But yeah, we're going to go take a look. Some of the stats, what it takes. One of the things you'll start to see as I show you here is I'm looking at the gold per minute average for this season, as well as the win rates. As for mine, I'm sitting at 971. Some of these other asols, they're ranging anywhere between 750 on the lower end. Yes, that is lower, all the way up to 946 for Kurume. Pretty good, actually. Some of the other ones that currently aren't playing asol that I see that are decent. Targon, I've usually seen him up at the top. I haven't seen him actually play, but, people like Cosmic Soul, very good player. He hasn't played much this season on Asol, only 28 games, but, he's got a very, very good win rate on that champion, as well as gold per minute. And that's what you're going to need. You're going to need 900 at least to be able to carry these games on Asol. You have to. Minisoup, another great player. High GPM on his champions, 875, but they're right now for them, they see other champions that are better in the meta. I love Asol. I love how he works, and that's what I'm going to show you today in the guide. So if you like the content, please consider liking and subscribing so you don't miss any more my future guides, lane matchups, everything. Anyways, thank you, and let's get into it. Now, first off, we're going to go through his abilities, Asol's abilities. He collects Stardust. That's his passive. You can get Stardust from multiple ways. Damaging champions or killing minions are the two basic ones. You can also get it through hitting champions with your ulti. You can get 8 from that. But Stardust, the more you get, the further you can fly, the more damage on your Q, max health damage, and the higher execution range on your E. Those are the two biggest things. Now, the ulti scales with Stardust, but it's only the size of it. Things to note is that it does not increase the size, the range of the wave that shoots out, just the size of the actual ult, which is pretty awesome. Okay, so we're going to move on to his first ability. I say Q a lot, so you may hear me say that. So this is Breath of Light. So basically, he breathes for, I think it's 3.25 seconds. It does do a little bit of AoE damage, but the primary target that you're hitting, it's going to start to do a little channel that goes around in a circle. Now, interesting to note that it is on 3.25 seconds, but once you meet max rank, you have unlimited cast time. You also have unlimited cast time of this Q while you're flying with your W, which is your second skill. We'll go over that in just a second. But to get 1 Stardust, you're going to need to complete a full circle all the way around the champion with this ability. And that's one of the primary ways of getting Stardust in lane, as well as this is also one of his damaging abilities, which scales really hard with the amount of Stardust you have. So you want to prioritize getting Stardust. This also does increase with AP, as that is the primary source of getting damage also. Okay, next we got his flight ability, the astral flight, that is. This is a fun ability, the second skill. I usually take this level 4. I do 1 Q, or 2 points into Q as fast as possible, 1 point in E for gathering Stardust, and then this as I'm coming back into lane when I do my first back. But this is a very cool ability. It does more damage. Your Q does more damage while you're flying. This flight distance actually increases with the amount of Stardust. So all of his abilities are based around how much Stardust he has. So if you aren't gathering Stardust, you are just hindering this champion's capabilities. And I'll show you later on in the video, there's some cool things that you can do with this champion the more Stardust you have. And this champion scales infinitely. It says infinitely, but there is a cap on the amount of Stardust you can have. It's 9,999. I don't think anyone's going to be reaching that. But there is a hard cap in this game. On PC, there is no cap. You can just keep on collecting and collecting and collecting. Very cool. But yeah, so cool thing to know. I'll show you a little bit later. There's some very interesting tricks that you can do with this, as well as, once you have enough Stardust, you can fly all the way across the map. But yeah, you can deal more damage based off of how many ranks you have in this, so all the way up to 25% extra bonus damage. Very, very cool ability. So yeah, we're going to go on to the next one. Okay, so now we got the complicated one. We've got Asol's E, or third skill, Singularity. Now this is a very, very complicated skill because there's so many different interactions with it. Now, Asol's E is his primary source for gathering Stardust, number one. The ways of gathering Stardust with this is through minions, siege minions, Elder Buff, the champions that die inside of it. Anything that dies inside of it, you'll get Stardust based off of what it is. So if it's a small minion, 1, champion or siege minion or anything larger of that scale is going to be 5. Now, it does have Rylai's, and it does get bigger the more Stardust that he has, so you're going to want to prioritize in the beginning only using this for getting Stardust, not for damage. Now, I see a lot of Asols just dropping this willy-nilly, and that's something that you do not want to do. This is in the beginning stages. You're only dropping this, if you can guarantee to drop it with your ult and hit someone. If it's not hitting that ult, then you're not dropping this unless there's a wave underneath it. Okay, so interesting thing, for every second that a champion is standing this, you are also getting 1 Stardust. So very, very cool. If someone is standing on the wave a lot, drop this on it, clear the wave, damage them at the same time, and all of a sudden you're generating a ton of extra Stardust. If they have a lot of tanks, drop this on the tanks. They're standing in it, they're playing in it. Very, very cool, but not doing much damage right now, but it is making you scale insanely well. Okay, lastly, we're going to talk about Asol's ultimate. His ultimate ability, his R, as I sometimes say. So this ultimate scales with Stardust. The size scales with Stardust. You generate 8 Stardust per champion hit with the basic one, not the enhanced one. So you get the enhanced one once you collect 65 Stardust upon the time of either using it or acquiring it. So as soon as you hit level 5, you skill this up. Once you get 65 more Stardust upon the time of leveling it, then you get your enhanced ulti. The enhanced ulti does more damage, and it sends out a wave. It's also slightly bigger than the base one. It also knocks up in the center. So very, very cool ability. You want to prioritize using this around objective fights. So if it's 20 seconds before an objective, you don't really want to be just wasting your ulti unless you can guarantee that it's great value. You're hitting 3 or 4 champions, or maybe you're saving your jungler, something like that. So you really want to use this efficiently. Okay, so now that we've gotten the abilities, we're going to go on to the next part, which is, understanding his kit, when to use it, why to use it, now, and how to play. So, first off, I like to put this ward right here. This protects, our entrance to our jungle, but I can also look for some early Q stacking. So a cool little interaction with Asol's Q is this thing called Q tapping. You can just brush it up really fast, and you'll instantly cast it without stopping your movement. I think there's a small little pause, but if you do it quickly, you just basically moving your head. And if you interact it with Rylai's, now you got a permanent slow that you can put on someone. Very, very cool. And it's back up off cooldown before they actually come out of their slow. Now, Asol's E, once you hit level 2, you're going to want to skill that up second. And that's your primary source. The minions do need to die inside of it. Now, if you're Q tapping early levels, you're going to run out of mana, so be careful with that. Don't just go crazy with that. Now, you're going to want the minions to die. The most important one is the big one, so make sure you're focusing that. I did release a short on how to clear waves efficiently. But the general gist of that short is you're going to want to queue that big minion 2 times fully charged, get it low, and then you're going to drop your E and then queue the wave. That's going to be the best way to actually generate that Stardust. Now we're going to take a quick little detour going over runes. First Strike, I think, is just so much better than Comet, anything else that you could actually take. And then I've been messing around with a couple other different little setups. But I find that Sweet Tooth, Pathfinder, Tali Seachar with either Gathering Storm or Scorch. Those are the two that I run. Gathering Storm when I know it's going to go to late, and then Scorch when I need that early pressure to kill and then just end the game early. Okay, so now we're back into the laning phase. You've got your boots. You've made it back in the lane. You have your ulti. You can start generating Stardust. As you can see, I just dropped the E. He stood in it for, a couple seconds. A minion died. And I've got 10 Stardust towards my enhanced ulti. Now, your goal is to try and get this before the objective spawns. You want your enhanced ulti. So the best way to do that, farming those big minions. If he's going to be an idiot like this bot, he's going to stand in it. And then you can also generate it by doing the full circles. See those little things going around the Garen? That's gathering Stardust. Every single time that completes a full circle, it's going to do a burst of damage, and then it's going to give you 1 Stardust. Now, you're going to have to practice a couple times. You can get silenced while you're casting your Q. You can get stunned while you're casting your Q. It's going to stop it. But, while you're flying, you got unlimited cast time. You see that? But until I get level 7, I can only charge my Q for 3.25 seconds. So that's very, very interesting. Now, your W, your flight, as you can see, it gave me vision of that blue buff. So that's one thing you can use it for. There's a couple other tricks that you can use for vision, and I'll get to that later. But a couple combos that you can do once you have your ulti. You can either drop it out of vision, like so, and then go for, a quick little combo like that. As you can see, I wasn't able to keep casting because I didn't have max rank on the Q. But now that I do, I can cast it as long as I want. So, I can go my full mana bar if I so choose. But what you're going to want to do is basically, at this point, you can just drop your E if they'll let you to, and then fully clear the wave. Now, remember, when you're flying, you do extra damage. So now, 1, 2, 3, 4, all the way up until he silenced me. Very, very cool interaction with that Q. Okay, so we made it to the point where you actually come online. You've got your first item, you've got Rylai's, and you just got your enhanced ulti. Congratulations, you're now exploding. Now, if you're close enough, save it till you're level 9, because this is going to give you the rank 2 of your ulti. Now, when you're flying, there's some cool interactions that you can do. As you can see, you have to be really careful when you cancel it. As you can see, that it teleported me really close. So when you're flying over walls, go into a practice tool, practice that, because this could either save you or get you killed. Because if you go over the wrong wall, you're dead. You don't have your flight again. It does take some time, but if you have your Rylai's, you can maybe slow someone to get out, just like I'm Q tapping right here. And as you can see, I love Q tapping. It's my favorite thing, especially when I'm running away. You can do this while flying, and then no one's catching you. Okay, so going throughout the game now, you're gonna want to. There's some pretty cool interactions that you can do. As you can see, my flight is getting much, much bigger. I'm starting to be able to fly faster. The distance is bigger. But I want to use the rest of this video of showing the capabilities, the possibilities of what Asol can do. So what I'm doing right here is I'm just spawning some minions, or the dummies, and then I'm just spamming my ulti on a 0 cooldown. This is the fastest way to get Stardust in the practice tool. You just spawn them right here. I could go in the middle and then just kill Garen over and over again also, so I'm also hitting him technically. But every single time I'm hitting these minions, or these dummies, with my ulti, it gives me 8 each. So that's 40 for every ulti. And at the same time, every second that one of those is standing in it, there's 5 of them. So I'm also getting 5 per second for when they're standing inside of the black hole. So now I'm already up 1,000. So look how big this ulti is getting. This is just insane. It's just getting so big. And then the execute now is just so large with my E, and I'll show you that here in a second. I'm at 1.3 now, about to get at 1.4. But go into the tool tips here in just a second. I just want to show you as we get a little bit closer. And sped it up real fast, but we're at 1.8k Stardust. Now I want you to see, we're going to go over to the singularity, Now, you can see near the middle there, it says enemy in the center die instantly when their health falls below 44%. So once they've reached 44% health, they are executed if they are standing in it. That is insane. And this can go all the way up to 100%. So that's just one of the crazy things about Asol, is he scales infinitely and can one-shot you. This is disgusting. So next ability we're going to go over is his ulti. It is getting so big, as well as his Q damage is doing 50% of the target's max health every single time it does one full circle. Now at this point of the game, if you've ever reached 1.8k, you are doing an insane amount of damage. Look at that damage. That is crazy. And then I just executed him. That is so big. So that's just some of the strength behind Asol. So if you can scale to this point of the game, there's nothing that can stop you. It's just insane. In order to get to this much Stardust, you're probably going to need the game to go to like 35 minutes, which realistically isn't going to happen. But, you know, I've gotten up to, I think it was like 890 in a game, and that was just a fun. You can start flying across the map once you reach about 700 Stardust. So this is from corner to corner, widest point all the way across. Now you can cast this, you know, Q tapping all the way across, and that just ulti is just so big. But yeah, you can fly all the way across the map. This is just one flight all the way across. Now, a couple interactions with Asol's Q. This is the last of it, and then we'll finish up the video. Once you've gotten to this point in the game, you could go full tank and still do an insane amount of damage. And I'll show you that real fast. So basically, you know, I've got a couple of items. I just did half of his health with my Q. Okay, so now if I were to go back, sell my items, say, and then, let's see here. We'll buy some AD items. We'll go with, let's see, which ones should we go? Let's go Bloodthirster and Yomos, just for fun. And we're going to fly up here, and then we're going to hit this Garen. Now, you know, any other mage champion wouldn't do anything. You know, those minions kind of stop the damage. But, you know, right away, you know, that not so significant. But I'm still able to Q him for half of his health with a goal that's just insane. That's just insane. And the execute range is still there. But yeah, so that's the potential behind Asol, and that's some of the basics behind Asol. So I hope this video helped. There is so many different interactions with this champion. You can use repulsor while you're flying. You can use those little the white little missiles. But everything's going to be changing, you know, once, you know, every patch. So if you like the content, please like and subscribe, you know, so that you won't miss any of the future updates to Asol. One last quick little tip, your Q actually gives vision. So if you ever need to check something, you know, if there are red buffs there, barons there, dragons there, you hit it with a little Q tap. But yeah, if you like the content, please like and subscribe. And yeah, stay tuned for the next video, and hope you all enjoy and have a great day.